Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today so that we could discuss Gladiators. So, this movie, surprise, surprise, takes place in Rome, and it's about a gladiator who, after a long career in the arena as one of the most popular and, of course, undefeated combatants, is granted his freedom. Now, that also might have had something to do with him being the emperor's son's favorite gladiator, but whatever. So, he's going to be a free man. He can finally pursue the woman that he loves and get married, start a family. He can finally, really live his life. But not only is he given his freedom, he's given an incredible opportunity to work for the emperor, to work very closely with the emperor, training his son in the way of hand-to-hand combat and gladiatorial combat, all that kind of stuff. So huge life-changing opportunity. At the same time, there is a huge shift within within the government as the current emperor people are looking to push the current emperor out and seize power. As part of that, it involves going after this gladiator who has become kind of like the right hand of the emperor and his son, and it ends up becoming like the gladiator and the emperor against these usurpers. So this is a low budget movie, which means that bringing ancient Rome to life in a grand fashion doesn't really happen here, unfortunately. There's not a lot of actual gladiator type combat. There is some, and it's decent when it appears. But ultimately, like, you just kind of have to prepare yourself for, like, they didn't have the money for, like, the costumes and the sets and the locations and all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of like a scaled down version, but it does focus it on the story pretty well. And while it's kind of something, that you've probably seen multiple times if you watch a lot of these sword and sandal movies, I think it's decent enough. I really appreciate one thing I thought was kind of fun was like some of the like more B movie elements to this. It had some like Xena Hercules vibes at times, although it's definitely not as comedic as those movies, but it just has a little bit of that goofiness in there. The gladiator eventually meets up with another gladiator who is posing as a guy, but is very clearly a woman, and there's no effort really made to conceal it. In fact, when they revealed that it was a woman, I was like, I didn't even realize we were supposed to think it was a guy. But there's just enough B movie stuff here. In the end, I'm not going to say that Gladiators was like some kind of great movie because it really can't compete, on scale or whatever with, the big Hollywood productions. But I thought this was a really solid movie just to chill, a good afternoon movie to get blazed and watch and just relax. And I do think it builds up steam in the second half and has some, entertaining moments. And overall, I'm glad I watched it. I thought it was a solid watch. Again, I was blazed and couch locked, but I thought it was a pretty decent watch. And I like the fact that the main guy, like the main gladiator, he looks like that 80s wrestler, the Warlord, which I thought was kind of fun too. So anyway, Gladiators, yes, it's low budget. It's a little bit cheesy. It doesn't have the scale that, you might want from a movie like this, but I thought it was a decent watch, for a lower budget kind of B movie Roman gladiator type thing. Anyway, that's my review for Gladiators. If you want to check out more, I've got a full movie review playlist right here on YouTube. But until then, thanks for watching this one, and hopefully I'll see you soon.